Grease is the word.
Now you have grease all in your hand.
Yeah.
It's time, folks.
Yeah.
I have the gavel.
Hit the screen.
Want to sit with
We
me?
need a flag.
Oh, a flag. Oh, somebody, George, flag quick.
Ah, see.
Okay, I gavelled it. The meeting is officially started. Welcome to our meeting. The club mission to provide a supportive, positive learning experience in which every member are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic
which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
indivisible,
with liberty
and justice
for all.
Okay.
Thank you. Now, we don't have Thomas here? Or let's see, but I'm the Toastmaster. What was his role? He had a role filled? Okay.
I don't know.
So with that, I get to start the meeting. And how I'd like to start it is with with our energizer. Can I give it to Jana to give us an energizer? Okay, thank you. Oh, you're muted. Mute.
Okay.
Jason's in charge of the computer right now. That's why. Okay. How is everyone doing today? Happy summer. I am Sandy, and this is Danny. And this year, we're going to rule the school. So for your energizer, we thought we would do a little karaoke of summer nights. Is everybody ready to sing?
Yes, we are.
All right, here we go.
Can you see our screen?
Kind of.
Kinda.
Come on.
Yes.
Can we hear it?
Summer loving had me a blast.
Summer loving happens so fast.
I met a girl crazy for me.
I met a boy cute as can be.
Summer days drifting away like the summer night. Tell me more, you can get very far.
Tell me more, like this is
She swam by me, she got a cramp.
He went by me, got my secret down.
She nearly drowned.
He showed off, flashing around. Summer sun, something's begun. Oh, summer night. Tell me more.
Tell me more. Dixie,
Put up a fight.
Took a bowling in the arcade.
And we got some drank lemonade.
We laid out under the cloud. Really?
We stayed out,
In the car.
Summer thing don't mean a thing but of the summer night. Oh, oh, oh. Tell me more, tell me more. You gotta cry.
Tell me more, tell me more.
It sounds like a drag.
But she got really down in the sand.
While he was sweet, just turned 18.
But she was good, you know what I mean.
Slowly, boy, you'll meet brother of the summer night. Oh, oh, oh. Tell me more, tell me more.
Tell me more, could she give me a friend?
It turned colder, that's where I had.
So I told her we'd still be friends.
Then we made our true love vow.
Wonder when she's doing now. Summer dreams.
Everybody.
With fantasies.
Love.
Mm.
Oh. Back to you,
Wow.
Toastmaster.
Okay, thank you so much. That was fabulous. That brought back a lot of good memories. Wow, good. Anyway, so moving right along, let's make sure we have all our roles filled. Oh,
One more
I
time.
got background music. Now we've got our timer, right? Martha, are you going to fill that role for us today? And then we've got, do we have our grammarian? Did we get a grammarian here?
Jana.
Jana.
I think it's Jason, isn't it?
Is it?
What?
General
Wait.
evaluator is Jason.
Okay.
So maybe you could give us a brief
Can't
blurb
read.
of what that means to be a general evaluator.
General evaluator. Let's unshare the screen. Oh, we're not muted. Okay. So general evaluator, I will be going over the meeting and introducing our speech evaluators. And I think that's it.
That
Sound
sounds
right?
right. And I don't know if you're going to include a little general evaluation of the meeting for yourself. You might
Yeah, so
add
general
that in.
evaluation of the meeting, and I'll also be calling for
Yeah.
the times reports.
You're in charge of that whole section.
The whole thing.
I can't look at you with that hat on.
And Martha, could you give us a little brief
Hi.
summary of the timer and what you'll be doing as a timer?
I'm the timer. 1 moment, please. I'm sorry. I don't have the paper here, but I'm the timer. I'm take the timer for speakers and table topics and for evaluators. For the speakers, the time is 5 to 7 minutes. They receive the green card at 5 minutes, the yellow card at 6, and the red card at 7. For table topics, it's 1 to 2 minutes. The green card at 1 minute, and the yellow card at 1.5 minutes, and the red card at 2 minutes. For evaluators, 2 to 3 minutes, and green card at 2 minutes, yellow card at 2.5, and red card at 3 minutes.
Good. Can you show us what you'll be using as far as cards, or will you have a background?
Now, having the background, please,
Okay.
please make sure that you know my screen for know the colors.
Okay, good. So everybody clear on that? Make sure you can see Martha if you're a speaker or table topic. Great. And our grammarian is going to be Jana Banana.
Yes,
Give us a big...
I am the grammarian tonight, and our word of the day is zany. Zany is an adjective, and it means amusingly unconventional and idiosyncratic. And I feel right now, I am not only a little bit zany, but I feel like we're living in a little bit of a zany world. Zany. I will also be paying attention to people's language, phrases, and colorful vocabulary. Thank you.
Thank you, Jana. Let's
we could-
see, did we cover all the roles? And now, as far as our speakers, do we have assigned evaluators for each one of them? We've got our
Yes,
first.
we do.
Okay, so everything's set. So let's welcome our first speaker here. Let me see here. I'm looking at the.
Oscar, we had a change in the lineup. And
Okay.
it's going to be somebody that likes bananas.
Oh, Jana Banana. Good. And your evaluator, just so we be sure we have your evaluator, is that going to be Margaret?
Yes.
Margaret. Okay, Margaret's the evaluator. Jana. With that,
And 5 to 7 minutes, 5 to 7.
5 to
Jana?
7. It's an impromptu speech. It's going to be brilliant, come from the heart, and give us something that will totally change our lives. So please help me welcome Jana Banana.
Banana.
Unmute, Jana. Unmute.
When I was 9 years old, my family was going through, it was a doozy of an extended family feud. And this absolutely wrecked my father. I was only 9, and I could tell that it deeply, deeply disturbed him. I could tell that inside he had so much pain and suffering from this, and that it was causing so much turmoil. At night, he couldn't sleep. He would get up and he would eat all the ice cream every night. I remember getting up and saying, "Hey, Dad, is everything okay?" And he would say, "I'm just thinking, just thinking." I remember on my way to my baton lesson asking my mom, "Hey, is everything okay with Dad?" And she would say, "It's just adult stuff. Don't worry about it." Which made me worry about it because it made me think, is it my fault? Is it something that I did? How can I help? I felt the tension in our house because my aunts and my uncles would come and knock on the door, and my dad would get so upset, and then they would leave suddenly. And I remember telling my sister, "Whatever you do, don't upset the apple cart. Don't say anything that's gonna make Dad mad." That's how I feel being a white woman in America right now. I try to join the tough conversations, and I'm told, "You know what, Jana, you're white. You don't understand. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what's happening. You're privileged." Well, I feel it too, and I've been feeling it for 45 years. There's racial injustice in our country, and I have felt it to the point that I've been afraid to speak because I'm afraid I'm going to upset somebody. I'm afraid I'm going to say the wrong things. I don't know how to help. And at times I think I'm part of the problem. Our country is hurting right now. There are some really, really deep, deep-seated wounds. And people just want to be heard. They want to be heard, and they don't feel like anyone is listening. And you know what happens when you feel like you can't express yourself, then you become destructive. And you not only start self-destructing, but you want to destruct everything around you. And that's what's happening. And part of the problem is that I haven't been brave enough to speak up. People like me, people who are on the outside, who are watching it happen. My dad hasn't talked to his family in 35 years. And just this past year, I happened to be home. And lo and behold, I looked out the window and my aunt was across the street at a funeral service. I hadn't seen her in 35 years. And so I went outside and I said, Aunt Sue, and she acted like everything was just fine and normal. And when I left that conversation, I asked my dad, because I'm a grown adult now, I've put the pieces together of what happened back then. And I asked my dad, do you think you'll ever forgive? These are your siblings. And he said, the one thing that bothers me is that they act like it never happened. They just go on like I was never hurt. Slavery started this country in the 1600s. And I don't think we've ever just acknowledged and said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jana Banana. Boy, that was, I said it was going to be from the heart. Boy, that was from the soul. That was deep felt. So, the thank you. We appreciate that. It's a gift for all of us, something to us to think about. So, and of course, you are privileged because you have a wheelchair and we don't, which I don't know. We'll get over it though. But anyway, so moving on to our next speaker, we have all the way from London, England. We have Dan McGill. And Dan, as I understand, you're going to be doing a comedy or a humorous speech. A humorous speech? Is that
sort
correct?
of. A little bit. We'll see.
Okay. Okay. Well, we look forward to it. And thank you for joining us. So with that, please help me welcome Dan McGill to the Zoom stream.
Thank you. Winston Churchill famously said, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It's having the courage to continue that counts." Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, do you all remember the story of the 3 little pigs? Yeah, good. Well, 25 years have passed, and those 3 little pigs are now 3 very old pigs. But thanks to the wonders of modern social networks for pigs like Instaham, Facebook, and Hogsap, The three pigs have arranged to meet up. Meet up, that's another good one. They've arranged to meet up for the first time since those fateful days when the big bad wolf was huffing and puffing his way about town. We pick up the story in a restaurant, a vegetarian restaurant, where the three pigs are busily catching up on the events of the last 2 decades. The cleverest pig, the pig who built the brick house and successfully defeated the wolf, he's the first to speak. Well, after I killed the wolf all those years ago, I moved away to a new town and I built myself a new house. I was so afraid another filthy old wolf would come along, I made that house even more secure than the last. I blocked up the chimneys. I built a moat around the perimeter, and I encased the entire building in walls of steel. I felt so safe and secure in my new home, I started to go outside less and less. And I'm actually feeling really rather sad because this is the first day I've left my home in more than 10 years. And when I did come outside, the locals said to me, "Oh, Jeremy, you silly old ham, there hasn't been a wolf in town the entire time you were locked away." Feels like I've made a bit of a pig's ear of it all, really. The second pig looked up from her plate and said, "I'm afraid my story's very much the same. After the wolf blew down my stick house, I also moved away to a new town and built a new house. But another wolf came and blew that house down, so I moved away again. But the same thing happened, and the same thing kept happening. And I kept running away, and I kept starting again. And I'm actually feeling really rather sad too, because over the last 25 years, I must have lived in 100 different towns. And it means I've never had the chance to make any real friends or find another pig I could settle down and start a family with." It was the final pig's turn to speak. The other 2 pigs noticed he was covered in scars from head to toe, or pulled pork, as they called it. But he seemed so much happier and more content than they did. As George Orwell said, all pigs are created equal. But this pig looked more equal than the other 2. Well, I won't lie. When you 2 moved away, I was feeling really rather sad too. But I built myself a new straw house in exactly the same place. Of course, I was terrified another wolf would come along. But I love straw houses and I love this town, and I wasn't going to change my ways for anyone. And one day another wolf did come, and he blew down my house. So I rebuilt again in exactly the same place. And the wolf kept coming, but I kept rebuilding. Until one day, I'd had enough. It was the final straw. And I started to study the work of different psychologists, as pigs do. Like Noam Spancher, who said, "When it comes to fear, the only way out is through." And Philippe Goldan, who concluded, "Exposure is by far and away the most effective method for dealing with phobias, fears, or anxieties of any kind." So the next time the wolf came, I went outside and I fought with him. And that's how I got all these scars. But I survived. And the next time we fought again, and I kept on fighting, and each time it got just that little bit easier. Until one day the wolf grew weary and he stopped coming. And the locals were so thrilled, they made me Lord Mayor. And I now live in a huge straw house right in the centre of town with my wife and 3 little pigs. There's no denying that those pigs have been through a very stressful time at the hands of the wolves, and we certainly can't blame them for developing a phobia on the back of it. But each of them chose to deal with their phobia in a different way. The first pig hid away for the rest of his life. The second fled time after time. But it was the third pig, the failure of the first story. He found the courage to stand up to his fears eventually moving toward them, and ultimately defeating them. Let's put the pigs to one side for a moment, wrap them in blankets. And let's think about some of the things that we're afraid of as humans. Heights, flights, speaking and spiders, big spaces, small spaces, strangers and outsiders. Things that might happen, but almost never. And others that have happened and they're fixed forever. The list goes on. Don't worry, the poetry doesn't. But I don't think it matters so much what specifically we're afraid of. Surely what matters most is how we're able to try and deal with our fears. Which of those three pigs will you be? Will you hide away? Will you run away? Or can you find a way? I know which pig it's most difficult to be. I know which pig will leave you covered in scars and potentially marching headlong into the greatest battle of your life. But it's by having the courage to become that same pig, we'll eventually find the greatest fulfillment. We have a saying here, to keep the wolf from the door. It means to keep something you fear at bay. Well, how about we say that that wolf symbolizes all our fears? And how about from now on, we agree to keep him from the door in a different way? Let's invite him inside. Let's sit him down by the fireplace. And let's give him a pork chop. After all, as Aristotle said, nothing in this world is possible without courage. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. What a strong message. Face your fears head on. Wow, that's what we do every day in Toastmasters. Yet, just a little side note, as you were saying that, I have a huge fear of heights. And I did face my fear, and I just wanted to show you a quick shot of me facing my fear of heights. I have done about 10 parachutes, even with the Army. So let's see if I can get back to unsharing. Oh, that's the tricky part here. Oh, there we stop share. There we go. Okay, but that's a huge fear of public speaking. So I think that highlights your story. Well, thank you. With that, we move on to our next speaker. And let's see.
Table topic.
I'll be table topic, sorry.
Look at me, Oscar.
Yeah, there you are. I'm looking at I got the agenda. There's George. Thank you for keeping me on track. Okay,
there you go.
With that, I return control or give control to George Hazard.
All right. Well, thank you, Oscar. I have it as 7:13 here our time. So if I can get 10 minutes, and let's see how many table topics we can fit in. Of course, they're going to be summertime questions. So let me see. Lou, are you still with us? I saw you here a second ago. Oh. Well, Paco. Are you? Where's Paco? He's just here. All right, I'm moving right. Janice, you're here. Janice.
What?
Let me ask you a question, if you don't mind.
Okay.
You're in a different region than us, and over here we'll probably talk about the beach and getting sunburned. But tell us what might be what is summer like where you are? Give us a different.
I live here in God's country.
Yeah.
Summertime here in Wyoming is far different from what it is in Florida. It's much drier. It's much cooler. The people are happier. We look forward to summer because the winters are so long and so bad. There's a thunderstorm going over right now with a little bit of rain, but that's not always the normal part of what we have. I know that Florida has a lot of rain and a lot of thunderstorms all the time, but I love thunderstorms. They're really great. I wanted to live here. We moved here from Kansas, and I wanted to live here because partly of the weather. Kansas has a lot of mosquitoes and a lot of humidity, and I don't do well with mosquitoes or humidity. So coming here to the Cheyenne area, it was really nice to be able to experience the outdoors without fears of being bitten by the mosquitoes.
Mhm.
I could walk out in the middle of the day and not feel like I had another shower in my clothes. It was just really great. So summertime here in Wyoming is different. I love it. It makes the winters worthwhile. Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Well, thank you, Janice. I appreciate it. Lou, I see you're with us. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
All right. Let's say you're going on a summer picnic, and I want to know what you might be taking in your picnic basket
Ooh.
and
Okay.
why.
Yeah. Uh, all right. Considering that I live in New York City, let's say I will go to Central Park for a picnic, and I'm not going to bring anything because we have the option to call and have the food delivered to us at the park. So I take the, advantage of that luxury that we have here in New York City. And I just wanted to enjoy myself and not having to bring anything with me, so that way after the picnic I can do whatever I want in the city and have fun and not worry about carrying anything with me. Thank you.
And thank you. Hey, Alex, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me, what is the one thing that you love to do in the summer?
In the summer, I actually enjoy walking outdoors. I enjoy spending the time with my wife outside. I enjoy being able to, from being up north, it's kind of like summer all year round to me down here. But when I was up north, I really enjoyed opening the windows of the car and driving down to like a marina, seeing the boats, seeing the people on the beach. I enjoy even the smell of the rain coming in at times, just because that symbolizes there's relief on its way, possibly. But mostly taking in sights and smells and feeling connected with something other than a screen or work, but mostly the connection with my wife. That's it.
All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Hey, Jeff, can I ask you a question? Unmute, if you will. Where'd you go?
Yes.
Where'd you go?
Yes,
there you
I
are.
am
Hey,
here.
hey, I played softball for 40 years.
Wow.
Of course, we played it in the summertime because I was up north. What kind of sports do you like to get involved in the summer?
Oh goodness, there's so many options. I can't pick one, but I usually would play basketball, outdoor basketball, a lot of flag football during the summertime. It gets real humid, so you're gonna need a lot of water when you're out there. You don't want to be dehydrated or catch a heat stroke. But yeah, I'd say about flag football, outdoor basketball. Sometimes I'll play a little kickball, when it's like a little family fun time and we get the family together, and we'll do some kickball, we'll do some volleyball as well. We like to mix it up, you know what I mean? We like to make it more diverse as far as like physical exercise and having a good time at the same time and enjoying each other. And any team sport I like, because I like, making fun of other people that are playing bad. So
Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Thomas, I do have a question right here. Where's my Thomas question? Hey, where do you like to go in the summertime? Give us a place where you would recommend us to go to.
Thank you, George. You know, where do I like to go? It's funny because we're here in Florida. We've got beaches that surround us. We've got theme parks that surround us. We've got all sorts of choices of things to do. And because of where I work and everything I do, I have the occasion to go to the theme parks anytime I want. So what I like to do is I like to go out and look for different things, like maybe a museum, go out and do something there. Maybe even, especially right now, craft beer is something that has been a booming business. So maybe I'll go out and tour a brewery. And, you know, a lot of times if I go out and tour a brewery, then I also will go and do, you know, look at some of the local shops, you know, for different things, something that I would not normally do. And that's my idea, is just to go out and explore new areas other than the beaches, other than the theme parks, other than what people normally do. I go out and try to look for something that I normally would not do.
Thank you, Tom. All right, I think I got time for one more question. Mr. Morrow, would you mind stepping up to the microphone?
You have my attention.
Okay, can you name or share with us one memorable incident that might have happened last summer or summer before? I can't remember which. Hopefully you can.
Forgive me, George. I'll probably not talk too much about last summer. If you think back to a year ago today. However, let me go back to the summer before, because I had the opportunity to take my wife one final time to the Smoky Mountains. And the Smoky Mountains are something, see, she's native born Floridian. I was born in Chattanooga, Tennessee, so I grew up around mountains. And it was common practice that we either traveled to the Smokies or we came to Florida. And I always came to Florida on vacations, but also we traveled to the Smokies. Donna, being born and raised here in Florida, had never been to the Smoky Mountains. So when we first got married, about 3 years into our marriage, I took her to Gatlinburg, and she just went nuts. And so what I've always tried to do is I've always tried to take her to Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge or Sevierville, because all of that area is just massive. It wasn't always that big when I was growing up, but that area is kind of massive now. But Gatlinburg was always the stop we liked. And that last time we got to use a timeshare week and actually stayed at Treetops, which is a condominium resort, which last summer burned down during those torrential fires that broke out in and around the Gatlinburg area due to the tinderbox nature of the trees. So all I can say is that for her, it was a fantastic experience. For me, it was going back to a place that even in the middle of summertime at night, the temperatures are down in the 60s. It's a lot drier. The trees are spectacular, and we did all the driving around and went to a lot of places. But just being in Gatlinburg for a week in the summer of 2018 was memorable, and I cherish those, and I still have those pictures to share for it as well.
Hey, thank you, John. See, I've used up all my time. I missed a couple people, Seem and Randall. I missed getting to you, but I'm going to have to turn it back over to our Mr. Toastmaster, Oscar.
Yeah, thank you so much, George. And being that we're watching our time, I would like to have a timers report at this point, so we can catch up on our time. So, Martha, could you give us where we're at on our speakers and our table topics?
Okay, the time for the speakers. Speaker number 1, Jana, 6 minutes, 46 seconds. Speaker number 2, Dan, 7 minutes, 29 seconds. For table topics, Janice, 1 minute, 20 seconds. Lou, 43 seconds. Alex, 1 minute, 11 seconds. Jeffrey, 57 seconds. Tom, 1 minute, 6 seconds. John, 1 minute, 59 seconds.
Well, thank you so much for that. I
You're
didn't know if
welcome.
we are going to vote on that, but since there's leeway on both sides, everybody qualified. So that's a wonderful thing. I love that 7 minutes, 29 seconds too for our Dan. Now I'm going to this is my opportunity to give it over to Jason, who's going to take over the whole evaluation team and give his general evaluation report. So with that, I give control of the meeting to Jason, our general evaluator and his team.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. And as a general evaluator, the first thing I would like to do is bring out Miss Margaret to evaluate the first speaker, Jana Shelfer.
Thank you, Jason. Fellow Toastmasters, and especially Jana. Jana is just, she's such a strong speaker. And here she was speaking off the cuff. And I could feel the distress you had when you were 9 years old. That was the first thing that, it really drew me in there. And your pauses are so, it's just like you put them there. I can tell that you're thinking, but it's just like you mean to be paused. And I like that. I got so involved in your speech that this is going to be a very short evaluation because I was just in there feeling all these feelings and I really was forgetting I was evaluating. The one thing that I think that I would have liked to have seen when you were talking about your family, you didn't really give us any details. And I don't suppose you wanted to give us any details, but maybe just something to hold on to. It was just kind of out there a little bit too much, and I didn't really understand the connection. But other than that, you are such a powerful speaker, and I am definitely looking forward to hearing you speak next time.
Thank you very much, Miss Margaret. And if we could have Miss Sandy for evaluation of Mr. Dan.
Yes. Dan, I'm so happy to have you here again. It's good to hear you speak. I am so impressed with the way you took a children's story like that and related it to real life. Your little innuendos and brought it to life. The pig names and the references to pigs and the hats and the scarf and the bully with the scars. I think that was inspirational. I really connected to your story. I love the way you pumped up the piggies into a strong message for anyone to follow. Even a kid could follow that story. And I think it's an important lesson, and you were able to twist it into a real life scenario. The quotes were perfect. They fitted perfectly into the story. I love your Insta ham and your face fork. That just cracked me up. But I think if there was anything, any little thing to tweak, the three little piggies, the one that hid could be quivering because your voice would quiver a little. The one that fled could be talking real fast and out the door it goes. And the one with the scars could be like the bully, I'm not moving. Just to bring it home, just that little bit more. But I think that I even liked the way you did the rhyming at the end because that made sure that your poetry, your little poem, that made sure that people didn't fall off. Sometimes we kind of zone out, and that just kept people right there. And I think you did a really great job of that. And I would listen to anything you had to say because that was well done. It was really well done. What you saw, what you heard, and the way you made people feel was right on spot. Thank you for coming.
Thank you both for your evaluations, and thank you all for just table topics, about speeches, everything. The speeches, I can't even tell you. Jana, Dan, the off-the-cuff speech from Jana was, I think, touching and deep. And Dan, your speech was zany and brainy, and cannot get over just the depth and imagination that came from tonight. So thank you so much for everything. I think we all did a fantastic job. And outside of that, I don't have anything out for the general evaluation. I think this has been a perfect, wonderful meeting. Unless I need to give anything more, Mr. Toastmaster.
But that's fine. Although you do introduce the grammarian,
yes,
and the the whole evaluation.
Yeah, so I also need to go back to, say, I'll go to the grammarian next, and then I'll go back to the timers report for the 2 evaluations, right?
Yes, correct.
So let me introduce the most beautiful grammarian of the night, Jana Shelfer.
She's zany.
Yes. I thought the vocabulary tonight was spot on. I loved having someone from across the pond join our meeting because they add a little bit more flavor to our words, which I like. Dan, here's a few phrases that caught my attention. The cleverest pig, silly ol' ham, Lord Mayor. And I agree with Sandy. I loved your rhyming at the end. Heights, flights, I think you said spaces and spiders, something like that. But it really, really caught my attention, and it took me right back to a Dr. Seuss book. So I loved, loved, loved that. And then at the very end, when you did the pork chop, I liked that because the double entendre. Janice, did you say that people are happier where you live? Yeah.
Well, I am.
As she smiles, as she smiles.
I can't vouch for everyone, but I am.
That's great. And Janice, I am also from Kansas. There's no place like home. Love that.
Amen.
Lou, you used words like luxury and advantage, and I would love to go have a picnic in New York with you. Alex, again, I love it when Alex gives speeches on smells. Would you all agree with me on that? Because he used a phrase, the smell of the rain, and he lit up the screen. Alex, laughing at that?
I am.
You also said taking in sights other than the screen of my work, which I thought that was pretty clever. Jeffrey, you said family fun time, and the way you used it with alliteration, it just sounded like it was in song. I loved that. And you also said that you liked making fun of other people, which I think we all went, oh, great. Get ready. Thomas, you said you like to, I'm not even sure why this caught my attention, but you said you like to explore areas that you don't normally explore. And
Keep the clothes on, Thomas.
Jason. He just took it to a place that we don't need to go. But I thought that was great because most explorers do explore new areas. So that was kind of fun and clever and zany. Thank you. John, what I loved about your speech is when you were talking about your wife, Donna, and you said, Donna went nuts. Donna went nuts. So I liked that. Thank you, guys. I must say, when I am grammarian, I like to concentrate on the positive things. So I don't even keep track of the uhs, ahs, ums, and so's, and buts. Back to you, Toastmaster.
So it's Jason. We got one more.
Yep.
The timers report.
Yes. So if we can go to the timers report, and Janice, I will challenge you to come to Florida because we have 0 mosquitoes or humidity here as well. So timers report.
Oh, you are so full of it.
Yeah.
I have been there. I know.
It was worth a try.
And bugs.
Okay, the timer report. Evaluator number 1, Margaret, 2 minutes, 10 seconds. Sandy, 2 minutes, 6 seconds.
Thank you so much.
You're
Ms.
welcome.
Lisa. And if we can go back to our voting from our host, and then we will go to our Toastmaster. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
You're welcome. I guess if everybody has the voting in front of them.
Oscar, let me point out, we have Janice as participant number 1, Alex as participant number 2, Lou as participant number 3. Oh man, I missed somebody.
Jeffrey.
Who?
Jeffrey.
Jeff is number 4. And
then John.
Yes, and Tom. Don't forget Tom as number 5, and then John. Is that how many we had?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Who were the first 3? Because you froze.
It's not that cold here. Oh, Janice. Then was it Lou? Janice, Alex, and Lou. I had originally.
Janice, Lou, Alex.
Oh, okay. Janice, Lou, Alex.
You're muted, George, but.
Oh, next time I'll try typing them in.
Okay, good. Well, thank you for that. And
George, I'm hitting submit, but it's not submitting.
That you have to scroll down and get the last with the evaluators, and then it will allow you.
Oh, okay.
You're missing a section. Good.
Oh, that's what it is.
So this has been a zany meeting. I wouldn't really call it zany. It's been a fabulous meeting, but I have to use the word of the day. And moving on. So we complete everything. George, I don't know if you have results, but we could announce that. And then as far as creating our next meeting, we can go to that. Is there anything that our president, Margaret, would like to add to our meeting tonight?
Yes, I've got some information. We can, first of all, we probably need to get comments from our guests.
Okay.
Dan, one of our speakers, what do you think of this meeting? You must have loved it.
I did love it, thank you. Yeah, really good. It was worth staying up for. And thank you for letting me come. Thank you for letting me do it. It was really good fun. And yeah, no, it was a great meeting. Love John's speech, obviously, and a good topic session. It was a really good meeting. Thank you. And you get it all done so quickly. We do a similar amount, about 2 hours, as any of you have been will have seen. But yeah, you get through it very quickly. So
thank you. And Asim, you've been very quiet tonight. You need to unmute and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you thought of our meeting.
Absolutely. Hi there, everyone. I'm also from Dan's club. He invited me over to this meeting. I hope you can hear me. There's a bit of feedback. And it was a really fun meeting. I love the karaoke session at the beginning. I'm not sure, is that something you do every week? That was really good. And obviously it's not. But that was really fun. And obviously it's always, I've seen Jana speak a couple of times now, and she's an amazing speaker. So I love to come to meetings just to watch the great accomplished speakers that are always on. So yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, and the fact that your meetings are so condensed compared to ours, which tend to go on for quite a while, is really good. So thanks for that. Yeah.
Well, thank you. And Randall,
Hello, am I unmuted?
you're unmuted.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. I just came on the call at the last minute, found your link and jumped into the meeting. And I heard a zany rendition of Summer Fun by the famous John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. It was amazing. And I thought, I had to use the word of the day there, so give me credit for that. But I thought my iPhone had taken me into some time warp back to the 1950s. Then I realized this is the celebration meeting. So I loved both speeches, terrific, great speakers. And I'll just leave it at that. Thank you, glad to be here.
Thanks, Randall.
Janice.
I love visiting this club. I think it's a lot of fun. You guys have a great time together, a real spirit of camaraderie, and I appreciate that. I'm sorry I missed Jana's speech because I've heard her before and I know how powerful she can be, but we had a thunderstorm going over and I couldn't log on until late. But great job, you guys. Dan, thanks for your speech tonight. It was really well done. Love the table topics, George. Thanks for letting me come tonight. I appreciate it.
Janice, if you can send us a link, we'd be glad to come to your club too.
And John, what about you? What'd you think? You got here a little bit late, but
yeah, I had to come in, and I did say by the way, but again, I know how to be zany at the right time. I was coming in from Tampa because today I got to spend the better part of the day with my 4-month-old granddaughter, my first ever grandchild. So I was spoiling her in the worst way. In the meantime, it's good to be with friends. George, glad to see you. Sandy, Margaret, of course, longtime friends. Oscar, I think the world of you. And there's Marta down there in the corner for me. Randall, you keep popping up everywhere I go, and I love it.
Hello.
In the meantime, the second and fourth Tuesdays are normally my Bartow Toastmasters night. However, the first and third Tuesdays are open. And if it wasn't for the fact that I was in Tampa, I would have gotten here sooner. So I'm sorry I missed Jana's speech. And Dan, I came in the midst of your speech, but what I heard was delightful and I enjoyed it tremendously. And it's an honor to have you and also to have Asim here joining us from across the pond, as our friends like to say. But I also want to be sure to defer to Janice. Janice, thanks to George Hazard, I have learned that Wyoming is one of those destinations that I definitely want to go to in the summertime, certainly not in the wintertime, and certainly not driving across that interstate that we got the story about with the frozen highways and the semis coming over at top speed. So I do not want to go there in the winter. I've been to Michigan in the winter. That's cold enough for me. We have cold in Tennessee, but that's brutal. So I'm just glad to be here. And I don't apologize for the fact that I have a Tennessee tea in the background. After all, it's summertime. There's no football, but I'm a Vol 365 days a year. Thank you very much.
I thought those were Tampa teas.
Could be, but I'm a Lakeland tea.
So do we have one more guest here, or Jeffrey?
Jeffrey,
Yeah.
how'd you hear about us?
Basically, I've seen, I don't know if you guys know Daniel Alley. He's a public speaker. He recommended Toastmasters if you wanted some training and things like that. So I definitely looked online, Googled it. I loved it. It was great. This is my first meeting. And also for next week, can I have a song request for Surfing USA by the Beach Boys, please? Since I'm in Florida, please.
Well, yeah, volunteers get to do the song, so you're in.
I'll be more than happy to do it. I'll be more than happy to do it. But
I was there.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was a definitely great experience. Jana had a great speech. I loved it. Love you guys. It was great.
Are you local?
Yes, I'm in Orlando. Actually, Kissimmee, to be particular. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, Jeffrey, we would love you to join our club. You know, it's a very minimal fee, $45 to be, and then you can get all the materials and everything. It would be a privilege to have you on board. But so think about it, or just keep coming until you feel it's the right time. We would love to have you. So you're always welcome.
Thank you so much.
Now,
I don't know if everybody knows it, but Lou is a member of this club. She's not a guest.
And she's from New York.
Yes.
She's in New York?
Yes.
Lou, I didn't know you were from New York. I didn't listen properly. I'm sorry.
I'm a New Yorkian.
I should have channeled my New York accent.
She's the next Disney cast member. So
During the summertime, they have lots of dogs running around.
We have some exciting events coming up at our meeting. John Morrow himself is going to be here June 16th. That's the week after next, to tell us all about pathways and how to get in and what to do about it. I know Jana is waiting for that. And we've also got someone coming for to get us on to our website.
Free Toast Toast.
Free Toast Toast. Do you want to explain that, Sandy? Is there any more information?
The week after John comes, it'll be Bob Fisher, who's the PR person for the district, and he teaches Free Toast Toast, which is our website with the agendas on it. So that will be the week after Pathways.
We have to start getting everybody to log in, put their speech information in, and start using that tool, because it'll make life so much simpler for all of us.
She's right. It's fantastic. And by the way, if Bob comes, everybody ask him to give you his favorite recipe.
What is it?
He's been on all kinds of cooking shows.
Yeah, he's still trying to get on MasterChef. He keeps auditioning. He's getting close.
So good. Well, folks, we got to watch our time. We're over the time right now by a few minutes, and I want to respect that.
6 minutes left.
Oh, 6? Is that right?
Well,
yeah.
3 o'clock,
Oh.
but who
knows?
Oh, so we run it. Yeah, are we running it to 8? Is that what we decided?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oscar, every time I show up, we always run over.
Well,
It's
that's
your
all
fault,
right.
John.
Well, that's your fault, John.
Well, DTM stands for Don't Time Me. So yeah.
Means don't
So-
try me.
Also, it means does talk more.
Margaret, do you have players for next week other than
Yes.
John? Or?
Oh, the next week, yes. What's going on for next week?
Next week, the theme is intergalactic adventures. So I have one speaker already, which is Alex. Do we have a Toastmaster?
Okay.
Oh, he's got his microphone out. Look at him.
George.
Yeah,
took it?
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Okay, that's great.
Or you want it, Alex?
Do it. No, I'm going to speak, and I'm actually going to ask Thomas if he wants to go toe to toe about which Star Wars movie is
okay.
best.
Ah, challenge.
Challenge, okay.
Okay.
So we got 2 speakers. We have-
All right.
If
Then
Thomas-
No, that's up to Tom if he wants to do it.
Everybody smile real quickly and act like they're having a blast. I'm going to take a snapshot. Ready? Thank you.
So do we have evaluators?
Yeah, well, I'm happy to evaluate, but anybody else? Always happy?
Do you have a general
Yeah.
evaluator?
No, not yet.
I'll be general evaluator.
Okay, Margaret, you.
Go,
Okay.
Alex.
And Jana Banana wanted to evaluate, is that right?
I can either evaluate, or Martha, if you want to evaluate, I can be the timer.
Alex.
Yep. Yeah, Tom.
Good
So,
try, Jana. Good try.
I have no problem speaking. Are we talking like in a debate form? Or are we just talking general, one speech versus the other?
One speeches versus the other. One speech versus the other. I can't talk today.
Intergalactic speech.
I need a second evaluator.
Oh, this is gonna be good, Tom.
I didn't hear table topics yet.
I need another evaluator though. I'll evaluate.
Jana Banana. Jana Banana said
We need two.
Yeah, I'll do it.
We got Oscar and Jana.
Oscar. All right. What
Table
about
topics.
table topics? I'll do table topics. I don't care. Unless somebody else wants it.
The final frontier.
Okay.
All right.
What about a grammarian? I know we don't have a problem with a timer.
Miriam. The grammarian.
Okay, so
Lou, Jeffrey, are you guys going to be back next week? You want to do?
Yes, I can do grammarian.
Oh,
Okay.
good, Lou.
All right.
Jeffrey, do you want to try a roll?
I'll see. I'll try one. I'll come back next week and then see how it is again.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm
Go
still
easy on him, okay?
I'm still
So-
a little shy. I'm still a little shy.
Oh, we'll break you of that.
You don't look
Yeah.
shy. I don't know. I think you're faking us out.
I live in Kissimmee. I'll come get you.
All right, cool. Sounds good.
Lou, you're gonna have to come up with an intergalactic word of the day. Okay? For next week.
You got it.
Okay. Other than that,
Are we all set, everybody?
I think we are.
And we kept it within time. I'm very proud of us.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey,
Can I suggest the word of next week?
Sure.
Quasar.
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 Used to be a good TV.
Oh, my question to Jeffrey was, did he need any more information, or would you like to stay after and ask some questions? Or is there any question you have for us since you're new to Toastmasters?
Yeah, I actually do have a couple questions. Is this like a trial, or is this like a program that goes on for a matter of months, or it's just as you can come in as much as you want?
It's eternal.
Oh.
Even into the afterlife.
Jeffrey,
Can I offer Jeffrey one observation to help him if he doesn't mind?
Go ahead.
Jeffrey, I've been a Toastmaster for 32 years.
Wow.
Why do I keep coming back? Because I keep learning. I always come in, and when I leave with more than I arrived. And further, the fellowship of this community of people that I have gotten to know over these 32 years has transformed my life in so many, many ways, and not just my ability to communicate and to take a leadership role, as well as the opportunity to coach, mentor, and encourage people to find their space, their place, and pay it forward. So it's there's an entire program ready, and it starts with a very basic beginning where we get to learn a little bit about you through an introductory speech that we affectionately refer to as Janice, the icebreaker. And from there, the process takes you through steps that you move at your pace. And if you come to meetings, you learn from others, but you also have the opportunity to apply and learn to do as well. So you will find that Toastmasters, in my opinion, from its education and leadership and its communications, is the best bang for the buck.
That is great.
Jeffrey, if you can make sure I have your email, I'll include you on the next invite so you get a reminder.
No problem. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
And if I could say one
put it
thing
right
too.
in the chat if you'd like. And
Yes, I'll do that right now.
okay.
One other thing, Jeffrey, too, if I can. This is a very supportive environment. We don't do a lot of the bad talk. We don't try to insult you. We try to support you, and listening to everybody talk, they will try to help improve you. And so there's no red marks, there's no underlines, there's no harsh, any feedback we give is to support and to help build you to where you want to be. So
That sounds great. That sounds great. I like that a lot. Definitely.
And once you decide, Jeffrey, you get all the materials downloaded, but it is a very minimal fee. For 6 months, it's only $45 to get the materials. We do have an additional fee of $20 when you start, and then there might be a club fee for little awards and things that we have, or open houses. But it comes out to about a couple of dollars a week. So the advantage is really the community, and it can completely transform your life. This is, like I showed earlier, something I had a tremendous fear of. It made me stop a lot of things in my life, and it's broken me free. And look at me now. I'm loose. Yep.
Nice.
So we hope you consider.
I like loose.
Okay.
No, but I know you guys are stuck on time, but I was a speaker when I was a younger age, when I was about like 14 and 15, and I got kind of overwhelmed with public speaking at a young age. I kind of like walked away from it for a while. I'd say about almost 20 years to be exact. So this is something I'm definitely looking forward to getting back in, and I'm definitely want to join, and I'm definitely interested in joining.
What you heard Tom say was very
Right.
important. Tom was,
and you're welcome to join tonight, and you should start your day.
Oscar should be a salesman, right?
I always like the hard close.
I don't know. I don't like the hard sell.
He's not trying to sell.
Here's the pen.
He's driving.
I'm gonna get it. I got the pen.
I got it. Okay. But of course, we can sign you up virtually, online, take your money, and no, we.
Can I say something? Jeffrey.
Oh.
Yes, go ahead.
Oscar, did you get the vote? I sent it to you.
Oh, you did? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And Sandy was trying to say something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Toastmasters also has a lot of opportunities because it's so big. It's in 142 countries. That's why we have the ability to make friends across the pond. And we also compete. So we have local competitions which go to division competitions, which go to district competition, then national, and then worldwide.
Wow.
So it's, Dan, how far have you made it? You've made it to division or district?
Just district, yeah.
District.
But I was going to say to Jeffrey, now that we are online, Jeffrey, you should come and join our London club instead. Don't.
Yeah.
I already signed for him. We worked that out.
Yes.
But like with this Zoom forum now, I would have never been able to go to Japan.
Yeah, this is faster than the old SST.
And to England and all these places in the same week.
Wow.
Well, that's what I've been doing. Burlington, Ontario, I was in their meeting the other night.
Wow.
Yeah, so we made friends around the world because of Zoom and because of Toastmasters. And in Toastmasters, everybody here, they support each other. We don't have the people fighting and things like that inside Toastmasters. We're all family.
We do.
Yeah.
We fight it out all the time.
Well, I just yell at Oscar when he's offline.
Yes, I know, Oscar.
But I like it.
Oscar likes to be yelled at.
Yeah, particularly when you wear those leathers.
Tell us who won.
Oscar!
Tell us who won.
And the winners are.
Oscar, tell us who won.
I'm not seeing it on my my Zoom. But George, can I turn it over to you for the winners?
Sure. Let me go back and.
Okay, we're in hazard land now.
All right.
Hazard alert.
Boy.
Was it?
Oh yes. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. Best speaker today was Daniel.
Hey, Daniel.
Yay!
All right, best table topics came from Lou.
Hey,
Lou. And best evaluator was Madam Sandy.
Hey!
And your ribbon's in the mail.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I probably have it in my other room.
Okay, so
Oh,
Steve,
Go
what I've
ahead.
noticed is that these other clubs, they have one up on us because for the best speaker awards, they give out little certificates, and in Australia they give a yak yak award, and so we got to start coming up with something.
Dan, did I see in your club you have some sort of curtain that opens up and announces the best winner?
Yeah, and yeah, I can send them through to someone if they.
Would you please?
Yeah. Is it
Actually, you know what? I think in our club, Dan, the winner has to give us a striptease.
No. I say pop the champagne bottle.
Hey, by the way, for virtual meetings, if you want to give a ribbon virtually, you can do this. See, that's best evaluator. That's best speaker, and that's best tabletop.
Yeah.
Those are actually available.
Dan, if you could send me yours, I think that's just awesome what Dan has over on the other side. Yeah, that'll work too, John.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
And here's the money, if you could just grab it.
What about Bitcoin? Somebody just send me some Bitcoin.
Okay, now we've
Well, good.
really got. Now we've really
We've gone
become.
beyond.
Break your
We're not
teeth
thinking
on that.
we're not
Oh, before you